Welcome, sports bettors from around the world.
We are back. We are back, baby. What's going on, everybody? Sports and gambling daily for a Friday, not a Thursday. It's a Friday. It's November 22nd. What's up, Philly?
Good morning to you, man. Man, you can never ever confuse a fucking Thursday with a Friday, man. You just can't do that to the people.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, when it gets to what we're doing lately, where every day we just seem to be winning, all the days just seem to run together.
Fair enough. Well, we go from a short slate to a big slate today, so I guess we should probably get into it a little bit.
Yeah. So yesterday we had 2 games, which it was fun because we got to really hammer down and focus on those 2 games. Today we got 10 games, so of course it gets spread out just a little bit. But real quick, I want to say yesterday 3-4, or 3-4-4, or three.
Yeah.
Three wins, 1 loss. Damn it, is how I'm trying to say it. I always say it the wrong way. 3 wins, 1 loss on our premium card. So come join the team, sgdwins.com, sgdwins.com. Hey, come get it, guys. It's we're we're missing out on that cash. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see here. We're going to jump into our coverage here of the NBA slate. We're going to start off with Atlanta taking on Detroit, Philly. Now, Atlanta, they're getting 6.5 on the road. This line actually opened up at 5.5. It is now 6.5. Detroit is at home, and Detroit and Atlanta have been awful against the spread in their last 10 games. Where do we go here? Atlanta, they started off hot, and now, they've regressed big time. I know Collins is off the team, and where do we go from here?
It's definitely an interesting matchup in my opinion. I might favor the Detroit Pistons only because this is a home game for them. Like you said, Detroit's been a little bit of a regression there. They're 6-8 against the spread this season, 4-10 overall. I mean, they got the same record, but I do like the fact that Blake Griffin is back and is not showing that he's listed as out or questionable today. I'm only showing Reggie Jackson being out and Tony Snell on the Detroit side, and like you said, John Collins with a suspension and Herder's out with a shoulder, which certainly he's a nice little player, but I don't think that makes the difference. I would probably lean Detroit at least early on at home, unless there's some kind of surprises with the lineups, frankly.
Now, I got some interesting news. Interesting stat, I guess, is did you realize that the Pistons are ranked 3rd in NBA 3-point percentage?
No, I wouldn't have realized that actually, but I do know they shoot quite a few of them. That is interesting. Wow. No.
Yeah. So that tells me one of 2 things, or possibly the thing is maybe they. I don't know. What I guess what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't be surprised if they regress a little bit.
Yeah.
On that, because I don't look at the Pistons as a huge 3-point shooting team, but apparently they are. So, but overall, I like the Pistons here in this matchup at home. But what does give me pause is the -6.5.
Yeah.
It is a big number.
I agree.
But I kind of lean that way anyway because the Hawks just have not been impressive lately.
The Hawks really don't have anybody, in my opinion, that can really match them on the glass. Either Drummond and Blake are in the game, and they're a bigger team. But it'll be interesting. I don't disagree though. The line's a little tricky for sure.
Charlotte versus the Washington Wizards. Wizards, man, they're like what number 1 in offense efficiency. I mean, all they do is play offense. They don't play a lick of defense.
Right. They are like first in offense and about 30th in defense. If they could, I actually heard the coach say if we played any defense, we might actually have one of the better records in the league because they got to pretty much outscore you.
They remind me of the Rockets, man. Like a poor man's Rockets team.
Really, it is kind of interesting how that plays out. That's why these games they get into the 130s. We had that one Rockets game that they were both in the 150s with them, which is crazy. And but like we've talked about Charlotte before, and I don't know what the hell they are. They're a little Jekyll and Hyde right now. 26th in offense, 20th in defense. Shoot a lot of threes. They live and die by the 3. I would probably lean Washington in this because I don't think that Charlotte has enough offense to keep up with them or enough defense to stop them, frankly.
Well, it all comes down to if Charlotte can hit their 3-pointers or not. That's what killed them last game versus the Nets. They had open looks, but they just kept banging them off the back iron. Charlotte won 3 out of their last 4 matchups last season. So,
Yeah.
3-1, I guess is how I should say it. 3-1 yet last year versus the Wizards. And the Wizards, just give up just tons of points. They've allowed 60 points in the first half in 10 straight games, Philly. That's unprecedented, I believe.
That's ridiculous.
Overall, the over-under is 233. So
yeah,
you better believe that line's going to continue to rise if you don't jump on it early, if you like the over there. The only thing gives me pause with that is Charlotte, man. I mean, will Charlotte put the points up?
Right. And, interestingly enough, Washington has a 4-8 record, but they're 8-3-1 against the spread, which is pretty damn good. So I don't know. I mean, Charlotte is not. You're right. It's going to come down to whether they hit their threes. If they get a couple guys that are hot, that game could get interesting. But
right.
I would think that Charlotte's going to have to score a high amount of points in order to actually beat them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, Sacramento versus Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn, we just won their last game versus the Charlotte Hornets, and Sacramento, they haven't been doing too bad as of late
No,
either.
They're better now.
The over-under is off the board right now, but I got Brooklyn minus 3.5 at home.
Yeah.
Sacramento is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Brooklyn is 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. Brooklyn's starting their little East Coast swing. What do you think, man? You think they can come into the Nets and cover that spread?
Well, showing Kyrie is out Friday versus Sacramento. Shoulder.
What's new?
Yeah, really. Chris LeVert still – or Karis LeVert. Jesus. Karis LeVert is out with a thumb. He's out indefinitely. On the other side, I mean, you got De'Aaron Fox. He has been out a little bit, but he's still out indefinitely. Bogdan Bogdanovic, who has been really, really good for them, is a game time. It looks like, I believe, let me see. Oh, he left last game, so he's questionable. Hopefully, and he plays for them because he's a big part of what they do. And then Marvin Bagley's thumb, and it looks like he's out for a couple of weeks. But with that being said, though, I like the way Sacramento's been playing recently. They've committed themselves on the defensive end a little bit, and they kind of picked things up. I know Luke Walton was under fire for a while there, but it seems like they got their act together. So I think it could go either way, but I would actually lean Sacramento in this situation, especially with the Kyrie being out. They're not really the same team offensively when he's not in there.
Yeah, and Holmes from the Kings. I mean, that guy. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, they would really be struggling. 20 points, 15 rebounds versus the Suns, and he notched his 4th double-double of the season.
There might have been some motivation there because Rashawn Holmes is an ex-Phoenix Sun, so I'm sure he came to play. Yeah, he's nice and athletic. There's no doubt.
Yeah, just to let y'all know, Brooklyn won the 2 meetings last year, and they scored 123 points in each of those games. So, all in all, I want to say give me Brooklyn. What do you think? Who do you like in this one?
I actually lean Sacramento, frankly. I mean, I know the Sacramento's 25th in offense and Brooklyn is 9th in offense, but that's with Kyrie in the game. I don't know. I like the way that Brooklyn has been trending. I'm sorry, the way that Sacramento has been trending over the last couple of games, and I would ride the hot hand. This is just me personally, but I can make an argument for the other side.
No, you're right. And the one thing I would say to that is when teams are hot and then they make that trip across the country and then they have a day off, I'm not saying it's a reset button, but just keep your eye on it. All right,
that's a fair point.
Let's move on to San Antonio versus the Philadelphia 76ers. San Antonio has been a train wreck this year.
Yeah.
Not sad about that at all, considering I'm in Texas. Can't stand those guys over there. They're going into Philly, and they're catching 7.5 points.
Yeah.
I mean, just on the surface here, I don't see how the Spurs cover this spread.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear you, and obviously this being my team, it gave me a little bit of pause only because I know that the Sixers teams have struggled with San Antonio over the last few years. And listen, we're talking about different teams, and I get it. And there's a dynamic there with Popovich and Brett Brown, who Brett Brown was on that coaching staff that won all those titles. So I know there's a little kind of like, maybe a factor there where they both want to get at each other. But, yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, the Sixers really should take care of business. On the injury side of it, it says, from what I understand, Embiid is playing. There's no load management situations on that side, which I always have to worry about.
Right.
Josh Richardson potentially is out. Nothing serious, but he is questionable with a hip.
Yeah, he sat out on Wednesday, did he not?
He did, and the way the Sixers sort of one of those teams that are extra cautious, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play. And then Trey Burke, who's a backup guard for them, is questionable as well. Now, on the other side, Derek White is questionable with a foot. He's a big part of what San Antonio does. They haven't been able to score the ball, and they don't play, frankly, enough defense. So, yeah, the Sixers should win this game, but it's just one of those where I wouldn't be shocked if they don't cover.
So here's a question. If Derek White is announced out, does that move the line, or do you think that's already baked into the line in this one?
I think it's probably into the line because he didn't play in his last game, and I know it says he's questionable, but from what I understand, he's not ready yet. I could see people betting the Sixers and moving anyway. I mean, I can see looks like there's a lot of money coming in on them now, probably.
Right. I like the Sixers in this spot. San Antonio has not done anything to suggest that they should cover the spread, especially versus a team like Philadelphia.
Well, now that Ben Simmons is an absolute marksman from three-point land, I mean, they should kill it,
Let's not get a hold of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I mean, he hit one shot. I mean,
they're undefeated.
It's crazy, man.
Hit a three.
It's crazy, man. Let's just throw a parade for the guy because he's only just doing what everyone else in the league does every single game. So
they're undefeated when he hits a three. I just want to point that out.
Shut the hell up. All right, moving on to Miami versus Chicago. Miami, man, one of the sleepers this year. Nobody was talking about them before the season, and still nobody is still talking about them. They roll into Chicago, and they're laying 4.5. Chicago's getting 4.5 at home.
Yeah.
Does Zach LaVine come in here and play spoiler, or is Miami just going to keep rolling? I mean, because they've had injuries over there, and nothing's slowing them down over there.
It's true. Actually, when you look at the card early on and there's games that stick out to you, this is one that I actually initially kind of had my eyes kind of opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I checked into a little further just to see, is there anybody in, anybody out? I mean, just based off of the information I'm getting now, I like Miami to cover the 4.5, frankly. I know they're going to Chicago, and Chicago, like you said, Zach LaVine, they got some young talent, but Miami plays both sides of the ball. They come at you in waves, they're deep, and they play gritty defense, and I don't think Chicago has enough, frankly. And then, they got a couple guys out on their side. Let me see here. It was Otto Porter's out indefinitely. Cristiano Feliciano's out indefinitely. Luke Corman's out with a nose, and he plays a part in that team.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler Hutchinson's downgraded to out. On the other side, Deion Waiters is out with his gummy suspension, but that's been the same. Winslow is still out with a concussion. It's the same situation, really. And they're 9-2-2 against the spread, 10-3 overall, sneaky 10-3. I don't even know if people realize that.
No, nobody knows, man. They're the quietest team. They're flying under the radar. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
the Heat took.
I don't think that's enough, man. 4.5.
I don't think so either. I think the line is wrong.
Agreed.
This is one of those things where, when you look at this and you look at him like, what the hell is going on? This doesn't make any sense. But I don't get that feeling like that this is a trap in this one. This one just feels like
I hear you.
It's just wrong. The Heat took 2 out of 3 meetings last season, and I think they roll today. They're winning by double digits.
I tend to agree with that, and I honestly think 4.5 is the best line you're going to see.
I would agree. Hopefully, if we make that a premium, hopefully it'll still be 4.5 when we make that decision.
Yeah, this video needs to speed along so I can get on that.
All right, so we got the Lakers versus OKC. Man, so OKC spent, a couple days out there in Los Angeles. Now Los Angeles is returning the favor. And I think, it was a close game, but, we got the Lakers coming in, or I guess that wasn't a close game until the end, where Oklahoma City, if I'm not mistaken, went on like on a 9-0 run to get in there and to cover that spread, or you get within the number. Here we got LA minus 4.5 on the road, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10, 12-2 overall. I mean, do you see a situation where LA, hits a speed bump here?
I suppose at some point in time they're going to, and I do think they're going to win this game. It's hard to step in front of that train right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing on both sides of the ball. They have there was the other day where they had 5, I think they said, former defensive players of the year on the court at the same time.
Wow.
Between it was AD, it was what's his face? And the dude who played for Orlando, the center. I'm blanking out on his name now. Superman. Oh my God.
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. He was another one. I mean, it's just the way they're committed to the defensive end has been impressive, and they have a lot of offensive firepower.
Mm-hmm.
Injury wise, Oklahoma City doesn't seem to have one. Avery Bradley is out for the Lakers. It looks like Kuzma's going to play. I don't know if you saw, he got smashed in the eye and was bleeding, but it looks like he is going to play. But the thing, Lakers are 15th in offense, 2nd in defense. Washington's 24th in offense, 9th in defense. So they bet get added on the defensive end.
Right.
But I just think overall the Lakers they bring it on both sides, and that's a train hard to get in front of right now.
Here's a stat that I guess a lot of people would be surprised about, but the Lakers are 6-13, so 6 wins, 13 losses when they played the Thunder in Oklahoma City. I didn't realize that, but I guess that makes sense considering there were so many good Oklahoma City teams in the past, and LA until this year has kind of just been mediocre in the last a couple of years. So. Chris Paul only had 4 points on 1 of 7 shooting on Tuesday. So I'd like to see a little bounce back from him. But I still think the Lakers take care of business here. I think Lakers cover the spread.
Yeah, that line gives me a little bit 4.5. I don't get it really. What am I missing with that? I think it should be a little bit more.
They're on the road. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, man. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on that. I guess you're right about that. Very well would be what it is.
The thing is do we expect Chris Paul to go 1 for 7 today? And if he doesn't, then is that enough to get Oklahoma City within the number? Is the question.
Sure.
Is it one, or at least one of the things you have to look at. All right, Cleveland taking on Dallas. We got Dallas at home -10. Dallas has been rolling.
Yep.
They just literally embarrassed the Golden State Warriors. Now you got a Cleveland team rolling in here, getting 10. And Cleveland seems to be that kind of team that likes to play spoiler every once in a while. Now, I don't think Cleveland comes in and wins this game outright, but do you see a situation where they can keep it close with Luka and Porzingis and and the crew over there? I don't know. What do you think?
The other day, they had a 13-point spread against Golden State, and I'm not trying to compare Golden State with Cleveland. And I actually didn't think that at that point Dallas did anything yet really to deserve that kind of a love on a spread, and they absolutely destroyed them. So with that being said, and the way that Luke is playing, which he's probably a top 5 player right now, just been unbelievable what he's doing. I can't say that they won't cover this. Now, I was looking to see if Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love was out. It looks like they're both playing. I don't see any injuries on that side.
Right.
I mean, 10 is a large spread, but Dallas is playing with super confidence right now, and I do see Curry might be out with an illness, and obviously he helped spread the floor a little bit, but I don't know, man. I mean, they're 4th in offense. The Cleveland's 28th in defense. Cleveland doesn't score at a high pace, so I mean, it's got Dallas written all over it, but the spread is a little it's a little on the fence for me, but they should blow them out, really.
Yeah, they should blow them out, but this is one of those things where you look at the recency bias, like, man, they just blew out Golden State. Of course they're going to cover 10, and this is the one where they're going to be like, hey, they win by 3. It's just one of those kind of games that happens. So, in my opinion, this is one of those games you can look at live or in-game. If Cleveland gets out to a little bit of a lead, then maybe you can get Dallas on a really cheap price there.
Yeah, that's not a bad play. I don't know if I like it pregame. I hear you. Live is probably the good way to go with that.
All right, we got Boston taking on Denver. Now, this game is going to be the game that we do our contest on. Guys, still, nobody has won the contest. I mean, is it really that hard? Come on, guys. Let's go out here. No, I know it's difficult. I appreciate each and every one of you all that participate. Guess the exact score of Boston versus Denver, and we will give you 1 week's worth of our premium selections. Here are the rules, and just have fun with that, and I hope one of you guys win today. So, I mean, if you had to guess, Philly, who's going to win, exact score, Boston versus Denver, what would be your Your guess.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Let me just see something really quick. Wait, is there anybody out before I make this?
All right, man. It's not that serious. Let's go.
110-105 Boston. And I don't even know if I believe that yet, but yeah.
I'll go 110 Denver, 105 Boston.
Okay, yeah. I mean, looking at, I mean, my whole thing with playing in Denver, I always get a little concerned with the altitude. I know I said that a few times before. I've watched teams literally suffer through that, and they have trouble playing a full four quarters. They get winded. Denver's used to that. Boston's on a long, coming towards the end of a road trip. They're playing out of their minds, though. I will say that, and frankly, probably should have beat the Clippers. I mean, there was some weird things that went on at the end of that game, or they win that game. Hard to step in front of Boston right now. I really have to say that, but Denver's a tough team. I don't know. I kind of like Boston with the points.
Well, Boston, they got to be getting worn out, man. Every game I see them play, they're on the West Coast. It's one hell of a road trip they're on, and they're slowly making their way back to the East Coast. But I think the Denver Nuggets do the thing here. Denver scored 100 points or more in 12 of his last 13 games. They play pretty suffocating defense.
Yeah,
I think that they can do something here and limit Boston. And also Denver just beat my Rockets in pretty impressive fashion. So Denver minus 4.5. I mean, that's such a line. That's a great number. Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to take Denver to cover barely though.
But one trend I noticed that stuck out is the under is 6 out of 8 in Denver's. It's gone under 6 out of Denver's last 8 games.
Okay.
I mean, and I think some of that has to do with that altitude. I really do. I mean, and the gritty defense. But yeah, I get your point, man. I could see this going either way. I'm going to pay attention to it, and it might be another live betting scenario, frankly.
All right, look at this line, Philly. Golden State taking on Utah. Minus 15.5 for the Jazz.
Yeah.
That's an overreaction, is it not?
It sure seems that way. I mean, I don't know.
The
Jazz really deserve. Yeah.
They're not Dallas, right?
No, I mean, it's right. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a bigger line than what they gave to Dallas. I mean, Jesus.
But Dallas has a more explosive offense than Utah. Utah plays good defense.
You're right. They're first in defense. They're actually 27th in offense. Wow. Yeah, that's a ton.
Yeah.
Who the hell's out? Anyone?
I think it's too much, man. Let's see here. I got Rudy Gobert. He's posted his 5th straight double-double. Utah won 5 out of the 7 games last year.
Yeah, they got so blown out the last game. I'm sure Golden State has some kind of so you got to basically win by 16 to cover that. That's crazy. Hell out of here.
I don't like it. I mean, I like the spread. Give me the Warriors just on the surface. I'll look into this game more.
I agree. I'm sorry.
And yeah, so give me Golden State.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get ahead of that in front of that spread. That is nuts.
All right, and then the last game of the day, you got the Rockets taking on the Clippers. Rockets are on the road, catching 4.5. And this is, I think, one of the best games on the board today. We're going to see how the Clippers perform. Look, the Rockets have already beat the Clippers once, but that was without Paul George. And we'll see how big of a difference being on the road or Clippers being at home and then also having Paul George playing a good team like the Rockets. Now, these two teams have tons of history. This is like the closest thing to a rivalry game lately because every time they get together, some kind of shenanigans happens. You got Austin Rivers trying to tee up his dad, or even a couple of years ago when you had the tunnel gate thing going on. It's always Clippers and it's always Rockets. Always, half of the Rockets bench or the Clippers bench used to play for the Rockets. You got Montrezl Harrell, you got Lou Williams, you got Patrick Beverley. So there's a lot of moving parts here. That being said, Rockets 4.5 on the road. I like the value there. Give me the Rockets plus 4.5.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. I mean, I know the last game they played where they lost, they were getting 2.5, and that was against, was that Denver they beat, or was that Utah? Denver, I think. Yeah, Denver. I mean, I like them in that game too, and obviously you're not going to win them all, but I hear you here. I think they actually might match up fairly well against them, and the way the Rockets shoot the three and the way they have some pretty good offense. Obviously, James Harden is always a nightmare for teams to try to handle. Yeah, I can see a situation for sure where Houston goes in there and not only stays within the spread, but might win this game.
Yeah. All right, that will do it. Let's see, guys. Jump on the premium selections, $99 a month. Come over to sgdwins.com. We work hard every single day, and it's paying off, and we'd love for you to jump on board. Let's see here. You got anything you got to say, Philly?
No, I just wanted to, just remind people, this is 7:00, 7:30 in the morning on the East Coast, and these are very early, projections and, leans, and, I still like to look and make sure there's nobody ruled in or out before I would make any kind of a decision. But, but I just want to say that because, I don't want anybody to go out there and, well, what the hell did I choose that for? And, I just remember it's early yet, and just definitely do your due diligence.
I agree completely, man. I mean, it's early, guys. So, but hey, that just shows you we're up grinding early. This early, most people are still sleeping at this time. Let's see here. Make sure you do your Boston versus Denver contest there. Let me flash the rules real quick again. It's 3 simple rules. Participate. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that's hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, followed us on Twitter and on Instagram. Guys, we're all over the world, man. I mean, SGD Nation, baby.
Definitely. We appreciate everybody who checks out the videos and participates in the contest. And we really do want to give one of these away, especially to all the guys that are, with us every morning checking these out. So again, thank you so much. And again, if there's anything you want to see content-wise or anything specific you want us to break down with these games, let us know. We try to keep it free-flowing, especially with 10 games on this card. But, let us know what your feedback would be.
Yep, definitely let us know, and let's go ahead and get on out of here, Philly. Good luck to you. Good luck to me. Good luck to everybody. Have a wonderful Friday, and have a good weekend, guys.
Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Take care.